Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another G.I. Joe Mission Critical box set. This is the Chaos Break expansion. It's a little bit smaller one. Going to be adding a couple of new heroes, Joes, and a couple of new bad guys, Cobra. Yeah, this is kind of neat. So I don't want to reference the Power Rangers game too often, so I'm just going to do one quick reference. This is how this box was put together versus that. Is typically Power Rangers either have 5 members of their team or they have a box of villains. That's usually the 2 different ways the box goes. Occasionally they break that up with 4 heroes, 1 bad guy. So this is kind of neat with the Joes because they don't have set teams. So they have they can have 2 Joes by themselves. Which kind of worked, but they worked in an overall team with some of the characters from another box to form kind of like a 5-person mini team. But then we're also getting a little subset of the Cobras. So we have the Dreadnoks here with Zartan leading them, as well as his lieutenants Road Pig and Zartan. So also be neat if they made at some point. They do have, referencing Power Rangers, and they have elite foot soldiers, which are somewhere in between the foot soldier and the lieutenant class. They're a little bit, so they basically count as 2 foot soldiers for the terms of defeating them and stuff like that. It'd be neat if they did more of the Dreadnoks in that way, if they're not going to print them all off as separate minions or lieutenants. That'd be kind of a neat way to do that, is make them an elite deck. So they can come out, they can maybe get added in or something. I don't know how they would want to do it, but it would definitely be a neat little idea. So you could basically have a deck where all of them are in there, and they're a little bit harder to fight. Alright, so we're going to get just a couple of different things in here, nothing extra special. Integrating just tells you how to add your characters in there. So yeah, there's not too much extra for rules or anything, so let's go ahead and jump into our characters. Let's look at our first Joe. We have Beachhead here. I don't know why he's always been one of my favorites. I just always love the the green stocking hat with the lines on it. Just one of the memorable things I always remember as a kid. While looking at my Joes, I'm gonna zoom this up just a tad, and then we can kind of zoom back in. All right. So let's look at his player card here. We have Beachhead, Wayne R. Sneeden. He's the Relentless Ranger. So yeah, he's good. We have a ranged type character. Our Joe here. Once per battle, during any hero turn in which Beachhead has no cards in his hand, Beachhead may perform an attack with 3 dice instead of playing a card. That's really cool. So you're getting rewarded for not having cards in your hand. And this can be set up very easily because you could, beginning of your battle, just don't draw 5 cards. Draw 1 card, draw 2 cards. Have enough to be able to maybe help out your team perform an action. Hey, I have this 1 card, I power shotted it, and then my second action I can shoot. You're playing with, all 5 Joes are in one location, maybe give him 1 card, so he can do something. Or if you're playing with a bunch of guys, or by himself or 2 players, give him enough so you can go back and forth. It could be a very interesting strategy. I'm sure he'll have cards that work with that as well. So we have 2 copies of First In, Last Out. 0 cost attack for 2 dice. He has Star. If this attack is revealed for defense, deal 1 hit to an enemy card of your choice. If you have no cards in your hand, dealing additional damage. So again, he's going to gain bonus for not having damage. And this kind of goes with even the name of the card, First In, Last Out. So basically, he's going to be the guy that's going to jump in the front of the group, use all his cards up, and then he's going to hang out to the back of it. Since he's still staying there till everyone else is done, he can still keep doing stuff. Now I noticed it does have that defense star, but it doesn't have the star down here on the cards. I think it was just a misprint, unfortunately. Maybe they'll correct that later on. Renegade Studios has been no one has been good at reprinting errors in cards and usually putting them in like pre-order kits and stuff or bigger box sets. We have 2 copies of Patience. Zero cost maneuver. You may place up to 3 cards in your hand on top of your deck. Gain 1 energy for each card placed. Right here. He has a way to forcibly empty his hand while gaining energy. And it's like you could discard, or not discard, but put 3 cards down there. Gain 3 energy, play your big ultimate attack, and then be ready to do some of your other stuff. Pretty cool. 2 copies of Push to the Limit, 1 cost attack for 3 dice. After you resolve this attack, if there are no cards in your hand, you may perform an additional attack with 2 dice. So you're going to gain some very specific bonuses here. 2 copies of Intimidation. 0 cost maneuver. Place 1 card from your hand on top of your deck. Then deal an amount of damage to an enemy with passive or guard keywords equal to the number of shields on that card. Oh, so that could be fun. So you can take out one of these other guys up to 3 damage, just depending on what card you're willing to get rid of. Awesome. And then he gets even his his special card. 3 cost reaction. Play this card after any enemy card deals a damage to a hero. Deal the same amount of damage to the enemy card that has already been activated this turn. So it only takes out cards that have been activated, so it's going to be better later in the game. But if you get hit really hard, like maybe by a boss card, you can turn around and use that to take out any other previous card, pretty much. So that's actually pretty cool. And then he has his team card. So this is like the group of characters he works with. So we do have Beachhead here, and when we have our other character, Ripcord, we only have Gunho, Roadblock, and oh crap, is that? My brain wants to say Copycat, and that's not right. Bombshell? Might be Bombshell. Wow, can't believe I can't remember who that is. So that they kind of form like their own mini little team. Again, you don't have to use them as a team. They just kind of have, like, they all share this 1 card. So they have Fight for Freedom, 0 cost, attack for 2 dice. After you resolve this attack, you may spend 1 energy to allow another hero to immediately play a cost with a energy cost of 0. Yeah, so it's like you boost up something really quick. This can also be very good tied in with Beachhead's cards. If he's using it or one of the other characters are using it. So obviously when another character is using it, you could use this to play your last card, let someone else bonus. Or somebody else, one of the other 4 characters here plays their version, then he can play one of his 0 cost cards for free, which might have emptied his hand. And then he also gains an extra bonus there, so you could do some nice stuff there. So like, even like this first one, right? Or not that one, his... it's a 0/0. It has to be a 0 cost card, right? Yeah, lots of his are maneuvers. But yeah, you can do some very interesting things with that as a combo. Alright, let's look at our other Joe. We have Ripcord. I love this pose too. Like, he's down on the ground. Parachute like hanging out, like he just landed and he's ready to run. Like, they could have done like a weird unique one where it's like parachute was up in the air or opened or something. I think it would have been too excessive for these characters. But yeah, that looks really cool. So Ripcord is Wallace A. Weems. He's the Halo Jumper. Discard cards from your hand worth a total of at least 3 shields to remove Ripcord. To move Ripcord to a location of the current battle and immediately join that battle. So again, this won't be like effect that helps anybody else directly. The fact is that he can, at any point, discard cards to jump in and help out his team. Like, oh no, this guy, like, Beachhead thought he could solo a group of Cobra Troopers. And he's not. Boom, discard 3 cards, jump in. He might only get like 1 or 2 cards left to attack during that battle, but that might be the difference between beating everybody and like Ripcord or Beachhead dying in that battle. So yeah, it's really a neat kind of effect and way to play around with the mechanics of the game. So he's got 2 copies of Cargo Drop. 0 cost maneuver, gain 1 energy. The hero of your choice may take a card from their discard pile and shuffle it into their deck. Then that hero may drop the 2 cards. So this is a very like support type card, which are really fun to have. I wonder if we're gonna get Dial Tone as a very support card, kind of like one that sits in the main area and just helps out. That'd be neat as well. Side tangent there. Yeah, take a card from their discard pile, shuffle it into their deck, and they drop the 2 cards. Cool. So you have 2 copies of Parachute Assault. Like, this could have been a neat pose as well, like him doing like a flying drop kick. But it would have been very... It would have looked weird because you would have had to almost either have something like up in the air, like the whole hoisting, so he looks like he's in the air, which would have been kind of odd. Or you'd have had to have him, like landing like that. But it still would have been neat. 0 cost attack for 2 dice. If this is Ripcord's first attack during the battle, add 1 damage to this attack. So yeah, playing this right off the bat, you get a free extra damage point. 2 copies of Paratrooper Carbine. 1 cost attack, just does straight up 2 damage, and ignores the guard keyword when choosing a target for this attack. This is a very powerful card. Just 2 straight damage, and ignoring guard, which guard can be a very big pain. We have this kind of goofy one. We have 2 copies of Bongo the Balloon Bear. 0 cost reaction. Play this card after any hero resolves an attack card. Gaining a amount of energy equal to that card's max energy. That card's cost max of 3. So good. Nice support card again. Like, play them, you gain energy, so now you guys can play a bigger card right away. And this will work well with his Halo Jump, his 3 cost special ability. Attack for 5 dice. Ignore the guard keyword when choosing a target for this attack. If this is Ripcord's first attack during this battle, gain 1 energy. So that's really fun. He gains ability for going first. He can ignore stuff. He can kind of support his team. A little bit of an all-around character. Except for this card doing 5 dice. He's not going to do a ton of damage. But he's going to very well assist his team. And then the last card we got is the Fight for Freedom again. So you just got the other version, his version of that card. Awesome. So those are our 2 different Joes. Let's look at our 2 brand new vehicle cards that we can opt to use. We have Jump, the Jet Unit Mobile Propulsion. Cost 2 to use. Roll 2 dice. For each hit rolled, a hero shuffles 1 card from their discard pile into their deck. So yeah, kind of random, because you might roll 0s or misses, but you potentially could get 2 extra cards from the discard pile on the deck. Kind of works as like a good recovery option. And you only cost 2. Otherwise, we could swap out for the 4 cost Havoc. Heavy Artillery Vehicle Ordnance Carrier. I remember this toy. I love this. Also, it's fun to note the 3 different characters on there. So we have Barbecue, and I'm guessing this is Junkyard and Mutt. Although that might not be Mutt, that could be a different dog. That could be Law and Order. I'm looking at his helmet. I think that's Law and Order, or is that... Oh, no, that's... Is that Dusty and Sandstorm? I could be wrong. That's neat, though, that they have one. The dog's sitting in the seat, anyhow. But I remember this toy. That's a really fun toy. Also, I love these kind of cards. You get some previews of other characters. So this is a passive ability. Until the end of this battle, all double hit dice are counted as 3 hits when rolling for hero attacks. That is super powerful. As long as you can hit that, roll them doubles. But it's a passive. So once you play it, it's going to go till the end of the battle. So it's not just the end of the turn or this person's roll. It's going to last the entire time. So very, very cool. Alright, up next we have our first Dreadnok. We have Road Pig. yeah, I love these guys. They're kind of like, you have all these G.I. Joes and Cobra who are like military and spies or ninjas, and then you have these guys who are like post-apocalyptic, like he's wearing like football gear. He has a giant sledgehammer with a concrete block. It's just funny because it's such a different aesthetic. So this is a regular lieutenant card, and there's his summoning. I wanted to show the back of this one. There he is. He's got them pink and like red highlights in his hair, which are very interesting. Alright, so he's going to have 3 copies of Swatting Flies. 3 health. It says each hero discards the top card of their deck. You know, it's definitely not a good thing to happen, but not the worst either. 3 copies of Crushing Blow. 4 health and guard, deals 5 damage. This is as powerful as some of the bosses can get. That's pretty crazy. Carnage, 5 health, and discard all vehicles on the power board. That's definitely bad. You know. And then Brute Strength, 5 health, guard, and passive. When this card is in play, double hit results are treated as 1 hit results, drain 2 energy when this card resolves. So it's like the opposite of the Havoc vehicle card we just saw. So as long as it is, it's going to hurt you. But yeah, if you can take it out beforehand, at least you don't have to worry about that drain energy. Yeah, so he's very cool. Very interesting stuff. Alright, up next, we're going to have Zartan. She's got, I love this weapon too. She's like kind of like bikery type gear, like then post-apocalyptic. Yeah, she has like a rifle, but it has a blade attached to it. So instead of it's like a chainsaw gun almost. So then her cards are, there's her picture. And she's wearing all pink, right? Or like pink top, which again is, you know, very interesting. It's like, oh, you're gonna stand out by wearing, but I don't think they care about hiding, right? 3 copies of Ready to Shred. So it's taking out the 2 different. We have one with him, Road Pig punching Beachhead. Now we have her attacking Ripcord. 4 health and guard. Roll 4 dice. If any dice show double hits, roll another die. Deal damage equal to all the hits rolled. Yeah, so these guys like to play around with the double hit. We have 2 copies of Slip Away Unnoticed, so she can hide as camouflage. 4 health and passive. This card cannot gain any hit tokens until the foot soldier below it is defeated. When this card resolves, the lead hero reveals the top card of the deck, draining energy equal to the number of shields showing. Kind of neat. So it's like it has a guard, but it's a very specific guard. 2 copies of Ride or Die, 4 health, and fast. Reveal the top card of the vehicle deck, deal damage equal to that card's cost, and then discard it. So they like messing with the vehicles, which is a neat idea, right? Sometimes you just have to have characters that do stuff. They're different. And then finally we have Time to Smash. 4 health, deal damage to each hero equal the total number of energy in the shared pool. Yeah, so these guys are definitely become a pain to fight. Messing with your energy pools or dealing damage based on what you have and dice results, taking out your vehicles. Very interesting. Alright, then our last character up is we have good old Zartan as our boss. Zartan is the master of disguise. Also, he wields a crossbow. Not a crossbow, a compound bow. Yeah, he's all that battle gear on. And he leads the Dreadnoks. So, there was an error on his cards. They're all printed in red, which is the Nemesis color. Instead of the boss color. He is a boss, but they printed all his cards with the wrong color frame. I first saw that. My thought was, I didn't actually think it was a mistake. I thought they did it on purpose because I was like, oh, he's a master of disguise, so maybe he hides, like, he gets to hide, like, as a nemesis, like, or has nemesis-like abilities, but he's a boss where, like, the nemesis can specifically target characters. So I thought maybe he had something like that, but he doesn't really. I think they just messed up the, they probably clicked the wrong thing and had the wrong color on there. So again, hopefully we'll maybe get a fix on that at some point. So we have 3 copies of the Master of Deception, 5 health, guard, and fast. Deal 3 damage to half of the heroes in this battle rounded up. After this card resolves, return it to the top of Zartan's deck. Yeah, so this is going to basically hit you right off the bat. Unless there's another fast target comes before it. And it's going to just go right back to the deck. So basically you're not going to be able to take it out. Depending on where it lands. 2 copies of Deadly Accuracy. 5 health, deal 6 damage to the hero with the fewest cards in their hand. So this specifically is going to really hurt Beachhead, because that's his whole point. 2 copies of Dreadnok Beatdown, 6 health, and fast. Deal a total of 7 damage split amongst the heroes, however they choose. Each hero that takes damage must place a card from their hand on top of their deck. Nice. So yeah, 7 damage is a lot. So the more characters there are, definitely the better they are. And then finally we have Mercenary for hire, 5 health and passive. With this card is in play, anytime a hero takes damage, they must place a card from their hand face down on top of their deck. After this card resolves, return it to the top of Zartan's deck. So yeah, he's got 2 cards that keep bouncing back. When you have to defeat, 6 of his cards to be able to defeat him, those cards are going to be very much a pain to take out. You have to try and deploy things to get rid of his fast. It's like the first 2, they could hit right off the bat and keep disappearing. Unless, again, you draw 2 fast in a row. But then you might only have 1 or 2 actions to take them out. So automatically become the new priority. But very interesting, right? Very different way to do a boss, bouncing cards back. Plus, it also keeps returning your cards, so it's going to make you harder to play cards when he's getting rid of them out of your hand. He's not directly damaging you. In fact, he's giving you more health, if anything else, because you have a buffer. But, yeah, you have less option on how to defeat him that way. Alright, so that's what we have. So it's definitely fun. That's our Chaos Break expansion for Critical Mission. So if you're looking for 2 new Joes, which have some really fun abilities, as well as some new villains, some Cobra, there we go. Check that out. See you guys in the next video. Bye.